Hey guys, this video is about my Japanese reaction to the video called Men Are Better Than Women at Something. So I'm gonna be reacting to this video, which I found from another YouTuber called Georgia Free. She's apparently a doctor in New Zealand. She posted a video. I found about her channel yesterday. So let's start playing her video. All right.
Georgia, and this is my first response or react video, possibly my last, depending on how it goes. And I am responding to a video released by Sasha Daygame, the YouTuber. Fact: men are better than women, in brackets, at some things.
At something.
Please watch the video if you haven't already. I'll link it up and below. So basically, he cold approaches a whole bunch of people on the street, both men and women, and asks them two questions. The first one is, what do you think women are better at than men? And the second one is the reverse, and then
are naturally better at it than women?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Making more money. Basketball, maybe?
My reaction to this was definitely like a bit of a reflection on how we've got to this point, how we've got such a huge wall between the dream team. I don't think that there would have been any time in the history of the human race where anyone would have had difficulty in listing the differences between men and women. I just don't think that would have been a problem. But in the past couple of generations, apparently it's controversial to do such a thing. I don't think the problem was that people actually couldn't think of things that men were better at than women, and this is all on average, of course, there are always exceptions. I think the problem was that they somehow felt that saying it out loud or just thinking it was sexist. This is definitely reflecting the sort of this attitude, the biased attitude we have towards men and women. We basically are really happy for women to achieve and succeed, but when a man does the same, it's not seen as a success in its own right, it's just seen as a privilege.
Self-importance, a socialized sense of dominance, and self-importance. I already said self-importance. Look how important it was twice.
Our entire lives we've been told to try to say things or think things or believe things that are empowering to women and disempowering to the oppressors of women. So when we actually come around to having to name the strengths of who our oppressors are, we don't seem to be able to do that. And this attitude is not exclusive to the gender war. It's pretty much found in anything where there is that dichotomy between the victim and the oppressor, which is most things these days. Why is it controversial to state what one gender does better than the other one?
That's true. So this was my question. The original video was basically a guy interviewing people in New York, basically telling them whatever random thoughts coming to your mind. What do you think is better? What do you think females are better at, or like naturally have a knack on compared to men? And then they come with 3 to 5 things naturally, easily. And then after that, he asked them the same kind of question, but a little twist. What do you think? Give me 3 things that are coming up to your mind about what men do naturally better, and they cannot respond, they cannot answer the question. And I was like, why is it okay for, why is it okay and easy to answer the question for one gender, but it is not okay to answer that question for other gender? Why is it? What is this disparity? What is this inequality thing? And I'm pretty sure that they knew what they can say about the answer to the question, but they didn't want to say because of the stigma around this gender roles and the consequence afterward of answering the question, obviously of which one of them is being called sexist in Western society, and that's what she's talking about.
So facts shouldn't be controversial. Comparing men and women, though, is a little bit irrelevant if you're comparing them on an equal playing field, because you're sort of comparing oranges with apples, really. Men and women are biologically different, which is where pretty much all of these differences stem from.
Yes, biologically different.
Cultural and the way that we're brought up, but a large part is biology. So to give an example about how simple this really is, if you are trying to compare men to women and say that men are better at women at X, it's kind of similar to saying, well, boats are better at floating on water than cars are. Whilst it's technically true, it's not exactly anti-car to say that boats are superior at floating on water. Cars can do things that boats can't, which is why they're cars. And getting annoyed at these sorts of facts is really silly. I mean, they are not controversial facts. But you can see how silly it is to compare two completely separate things on the same playing field. I mean, you can state the facts, and that's useful. It's good to know the strengths of it.
So let's play the original interview video.
Funky, I like your hair. You must be a cool person. Do you have 1 minute? We're just asking super cool questions to New Yorkers. We get the answers to these. So question number 1 is, can you name 5?
Making decisions.
It's enough to scare you. Can you name, whatever comes to your head, 3 things women are naturally better at than men?
Making decisions, multitasking, and being level-headed.
Compassion and empathy and generosity of heart.
So real quick, we're in New York City. Can you just name whatever comes to your head that women are just naturally better at than men?
Texting. Eating. Maybe. Drinking. Thinking. Acting. Prioritizing. Everything.
I was gonna say everything.
And yourself?
My gut reaction was everything.
I can't answer that without being sexist.
Be sexist.
I mean, I just prefer girls in literally every possible way of speaking. And like, if I could go through life without interacting with men, that sounds like paradise.
Top.
Wow. You see so much hate from a woman toward men. And then I always ask myself, like, what if, this is just my wondering, but like, what if she has a brother? What if she has, her father? Is she going to treat her brothers the same way she's going to treat every other man? This is like basic fundamental stuff, This is not about like a gender thing. It's about basic how you treat people, how you treat a human being, like, being compassionate, being kind, being giving. This is how you treat people. But why, when it comes to men and women, like some people, when it comes to this, they treat those two different genders completely differently. And, they can treat, why is it okay for one gender to treat other gender as like a complete trash? And it is not okay for the other gender to treat the other gender not so nicely. Why is it okay? Why is it so like allowed for one gender to hate the other gender? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is like why like my brain's freezing, because so is this going to be like how you treat your brother or brothers or your uncles, your cousins, or your fathers? This is a question.
Top of your head. Give me like a few things women are naturally better at than men.
Oh my gosh, science. Looking great.
So now he's asking questions, the opposite questions. What do you think men are better at doing things?
Baking.
Everyday cooking, not chef. Brag.
Better at bragging? Okay.
And better at thinking, they drive better.
Fostering non-competitive relationships and intimacy.
It's about what women do better.
And
question.
What else are women? Oh, picking out clothes for themselves. Good God. Get it.
Okay, our next question. I like your answers. Our next question is: can you name whatever comes to mind things that men are naturally better at than women?
See, they cannot answer.
And what comes to your mind if I say what would you say men are better at than women?
Why is it not okay to say?
Can you just name some things men are naturally better at than women?
For guys, it is because we are oppressed.
Can you name whatever comes to mind things men are naturally better at than women?
Whoa. Is it the same pattern? They go silent.
Making more money.
And what would you say some things that men are better at than women?
Basketball, maybe sometimes.
So is it true?
I mean, surely it must be some things men are just have a knack for.
They cannot say because of political correctness.
It's a hard one.
No, well, the WNBA is incredible. I'm a big supporter, but I don't know.
Why is it not okay to say about men? But it's totally okay to say great things about women, but not about men.
Bias of a woman.
Do you think it's politically incorrect to say that men are better at
There's a
certain
political correctness going on in Western society.
Isn't it sexist to be okay saying women are better at certain things and not being able to say men are? Isn't that fucked
Exactly.
Could be.
It's fucked up.
No. I love them too much.
You do?
Unfortunately.
I love women.
I love you.
Why a socialized sense of dominance and self-importance. I already said self-importance. Look how important it was twice. And aggression. I really don't.
I don't know. I can think of a lot of things. I'm just shocked. It's fun. She did most of that stuff.
And then there's a second video of this girl, second channel. She couldn't name few things that made her better at.
Actually would be more inclined to be connected to her emotion. You know what I mean? Like we just have differences.
Practice just spreading the words that we find passionate and powerful. Yeah.
That's great. I was wondering what was going on. She's up there and all these people. And I'm like, what's happening here? Fantastic. Can you...
A lot. I think both have their pluses and minuses.
Yeah, exactly. Men and women are different. Men are good at mumbling.
Probably guarding themselves. Yeah.
Wow, that's the only thing that she can come up with.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it.
Well, they're good at a lot of things, but that's
Nothing that you can think of, right?
Well, she doesn't want to say. She doesn't want to admit.
yeah.
It's like muscle stuff. Usually we're pretty good at muscles.
So stuff.
You know, like strength. That's an easy one. That's a go-to one.
Oh, I think women are good at that too. Yeah.
Like as a tendency, generally speaking, women are more connected to the emotions, but men are usually more muscly.
I think that's been the stereotype, but I think that's definitely changing.
I think women.
It's not a stereotype. It's a biological fact. It's absolute truth that men have more higher testosterone, whereas women has more estrogen, right? So men has more lean muscles because of testosterone, and therefore the same amount of the same height and the same weight for men and women compared, equally same except the gender, the same height, same weight, a different gender. Men are going to be physically stronger. It's a biological thing. It's a fact. It's a science. It's based on testosterone. The hormone level is different. That's why we have different features. Men have a higher muscle density. Have a higher muscle mass per body weight, whereas women retain more body fat so that they can bear babies. So women tend to have more strength in lower bodies, like legs, squats, deadlifting, compared to the upper body of a woman's body. Whereas men, they tend to build much more muscles on the upper body, like arms, legs, arms and chest and shoulders. So women and men, they have different amount of muscles per body weight, and same as body fat. It's a biological thing. But she cannot understand about science, like simple science, biology.
Genetically are catching up to men in strength.
Yeah, I think the emphasis on men having to be so strong and like that sort of stereotype, I think that's going down.
It is not stereotype.
You think that it's an emphasis on men being strong, or men
Physical
just are
strength is
naturally
physical
stronger
strength.
because of their genetics?
Genetics.
Interesting.
Gender difference.
I think women are just as strong as men.
Physically?
Yeah,
Physically.
I do.
Okay. So women can build as strong legs as men physiologically. So women can easily, squat and deadlift as much as men, not necessarily equal, the same amount of weight, but they can catch up to men's lower body strength. Whereas upper body strength, women cannot, because men tend to build and maintain or retain more muscle masses on the upper body. It's a different genetics.
But they're not though, right? That they're not. Like, look at this. I'm a normal dude. Look at my size. I'm just bigger, right? So I'm gonna have more muscle. That's a normal.
She didn't take biology course?
It's not.
Not all men.
No, there are of course exceptions, right? Of course, there's men who are like this tall and you could just slap them and.
She doesn't know that men have higher
of course, there's men who are
testosterone.
intuitive and very emotional in their hearts and very good at connecting with their emotions too. But that's more rare than a woman who naturally would be more inclined to be connected to her emotion. You know what I mean? Like we just have differences.
She can't understand. She's like she doesn't want to admit that men and women are different, and the man has something more going on in some aspects, and then men has strengths and weaknesses, and women has strengths and weaknesses as well. But she likes to, she can admit about women's strengths and weaknesses, but she doesn't want to admit men's strength, and she only wants to admit men's weaknesses. And what is this unfairness coming from? Like, is this from political correctness? Is this kind of like a stigma associated with talking about men and women's biological difference? that results in like being called sexism. I don't know what is going on because this is pure science to me.
We just find it really
What she said was
people are scared to say that we're different.
But anyways, going back to the her another video, she pointed out pretty good things about female and male attraction when it comes to dating and how gender roles play differently, how gender differences contribute to initial attraction differently.
Well-selected pictures and well-selected words. But we don't live in an ideal world. We live in the real world. And in that real world, men and women are not equal in what contributes their initial attraction to each other. So men are primarily initially attracted to a woman based on youth, beauty, femininity, basically anything that is an indicator of fertility. There are many other complexities, of course, but this is like a good general rule for men. So for men, Tinder is pretty spot on because all you're seeing is a few pictures and that's pretty much all you need. I'm not trying to make it simple and to try and make men sound simple, but this is just the reality. But for women, this is where the app falls short. Sure, physical appearance plays a role in that initial attraction, but for a woman to be attracted to a man, social status is also very important. Women rely on social context to judge the suitability of a man as a partner far more than men use social context to judge the suitability of a...
That's true, because for women to choose right mating partner, like a male partner, she needs to go through 12 months of pregnancy and also 18-20 years of commitment of raising a kid. She's going to have a lot more risks, right? So she's going to seek out a lot more like protection, safety, comfortableness, shelter, food, traditionally from an evolutionary standpoint, like millions and millions of years ago, right? Whereas men, they don't need to be, protected. They're strong, physically stronger. That's how evolution played out. Same for different animals, monkeys, apes, gorillas. Even the what is it called? Lobster. I was reading the book by Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. But everything, that we have this dominant social structure in all animals. So she's going to talk about that. So women are looking for something more innate personality about men, like trustworthiness, social status. Social status usually implies more power, more money, more food, more resources, so that she can take care of her kids better. So she's looking like girls generally tend to look for social status and power through different forms, like how men interact with other people in a social setting, or does he have any good career? Does he have a good money? Does he act confidently? Blah blah blah. I'm not saying women don't care about or men don't care about women's confidence or social status. They do matter, but is it how prioritized are they? The prioritization of those different attributes according to different genders are a little bit different. It's not equal.
A woman for a partner, because a woman doesn't need social status to prove that she's fertile, and a man does not need to compare a woman to 15 others in order to know that he's physically attracted to her. But for a man to appear attractive to a woman, positive social status or positive social reinforcement is a much bigger factor. For the man to prove that he is going to be that reliable, strong, dominating provider that the woman wants him for. And also to prove that he's not a crazy person who's going to bash the woman up. All that stuff. The easiest way to size a man up that I find is in a social situation. This could be at a workplace, at a university, it could be at a party, pretty much any situation where there are social dynamics. You can stack all the men up against each other, measure them up, see how they interact with each other, see how they treat each other, respect each other, figure out the dominance hierarchies, and then you can just...
Dominance hierarchy.
But on Tinder and online, there is no social proof. A man
It's
can't
more
prove
intangible.
how strong he is, how respected he is by his peers. He can't prove how hardworking he is and how unlikely he is to take you home on a first date, tie you up, chop you into lots of little pieces, and send your respective body parts to different parts of the world. What someone can gauge in 1 minute of social interaction and observing that might take many, many, many messages on Tinder or online. And for most women, they're just not going to have the motivation to go that far. And just to make an analogy, social proof we use for so many things. Like if you're watching a YouTube video and it has 14 million views and the one below it has 3 views, but they're on the same topic, you're probably going to pick the one that has 14 million views because 14 million people have given it their approval and watched it. It's the same in real life. If something is sought after and it feels like it's the top of its game, it's going to be more attractive. especially for a woman. But on Tinder, you can't see how many people have swiped yes to a particular guy. Like, an alpha can't prove that he's an alpha in a vacuum. You need comparisons. You need social comparisons. So there's like this extra barrier that men now have to get over on these platforms in order to attract a woman, and also an extra barrier that women have to get through because they don't have enough intel to judge a man yet in order for her initial attraction to blossom inside. A lot of women are aware of the phenomenon where if they aren't initially attracted to a man based on physical characteristics, that can easily be turned around if there are other positive social status factors in play. And so I think a lot of the time, the men that are rejected on Tinder for physical attributes would not be rejected in real life if they had all of these other factors at play. So perhaps if a woman is out socializing, doesn't initially get attracted to a guy based on looks, but then a bit later overhears like all these guy friends talking about him in a way that is of respect, the man from being just this guy to...
All right, anyways, so that was it.
I think it's okay to say that we're different. We all have our things that we're good at. Doesn't mean any sex is superior, but just we're just different. We're just not the same, you know?
I think it's just the word strong is a difficult one to apply to this because it's like saying women aren't strong.
We're only talking about physical strength. We're not talking like overall strength or goodness or any of those things. Just physically. That's all it was.
Yeah, I think I get that. But I'm just questioning if there's another word that might, make it easier for people to say yes or no to that,
Why are you complicating biology?
Oh, that's what I'm proposing is.
Good word though. Strong is the word. Strong. Look at
Physically strong. Simple as that. 2 words.
So yeah, that's. But don't you think it's interesting though that that you yourself you kind of struggled when we asked what it meant there? You kind of it was a struggle. It was like there was some part of you that didn't want to admit that.
Because you don't want to go towards I don't want to go towards the like hyper masculine.
And then she started crying.
That everyone's different. I think
everybody's different. Even among men, every guy's different.
Yeah.
Why can we not admit men and women are different in the same way that every man and every woman are different among each other? It is okay for women to say, oh, women are better at this and that, but why is it not okay for them to say, oh, men are better and men are better at this and that? That is like something weird is going on. Like they cannot say something openly because it's they're gonna be called out as sexist or whatever. This is kind of dangerous because we are talking about absolute truth when it comes to biology and evolution. So it talks about facts, right? Facts like testosterone, talks about height, weight, fertility, how men and women are different in how they get attracted to each other in general, based on evolution. So great books about this kind of stuff. Or evolutionary psychology, this talks about male and female attraction difference, for example, like female needs to find out like a reliable partner, like a mating partner who is going to provide her, security, food, resources, and shelters. Whereas male needs to find out, the healthy female so that she can give birth to healthy babies. Because if he didn't find healthy female partner, his genes would have been already not eradicated, but it's going to be weeded out. Whereas if female didn't find a reliable male mating partner, her genes would have been weeded out because she found, or maybe she made it with an unreliable male partner who didn't provide much resources like food, shelters, security, so she couldn't raise her kids until adult. So this is hardwired, wired into our genetics through millions and millions by evolution. So that's what this evolutionary psychology talks about. And also in relation to evolutionary psychology, the book that I'm reading is the Jordan Peterson 12 Rules for Life. I'm only at chapter 1, but he talks about lobster, monkeys, bars, all the dominance hierarchy in many animals and different species. And all they have in common is that males with more dominance, with more serotonin, or has more access to food and better place to live, he's going to attract more female partners. Whereas female partners are very, very picky about choosing male partner because because she needs to go through, she needs to bear a lot of risks carrying babies. When she's pregnant, she's going to be pretty risky. She's going to be put on a risk. So she needs to find out the guy, like males, like a bird or lobster or monkeys or even human, who are reliable, strong, has a higher social status, so that he has more access to money and food and resources. So that's pretty easy, facts based on evolution, absolute truth, not the relative truth that modern society tries to kind of mess around with. So that's my reaction. And I think Western society, I definitely felt the pressure when I was living in Canada, especially West Coast, right? And especially tech industry, right? That the fear to admit the difference between male and a female is so high. Whereas it is okay for them to admit and allow and embrace or celebrate diversities across ethnicities, but the diversities among genders are not so celebrated or embraced. It's the whole fear of who's gonna say what, and then whoever says something bad is gonna get fired. The ex Google software engineer. It's a little different topic, but anyways, the whole cannot talk out loud about absolute truth, facts about genders. It's so stifling. And I don't know what is the answer in these Western societies, including Australia, New Zealand. It seems like her channel is, she's based in New Zealand, apparently. So there are a lot of comments about, New Zealand is messed up, Australia, United States, Canada, especially Toronto, because Jordan Peterson is the professor at the University of Toronto. And there are a lot of feminist protests going on around the University of Toronto. So it's, I don't know. This is weird. That's my reaction. Bye-bye.